Welcome back. You are watching Morning Express with me, Akisa Wandera. And as I had earlier promised, the KANU man is in studio as our person of interest today. Do you have any questions for him? Send them on the numbers on your screen or on the social media at KTN Morning Express, or you can tweet me personally at Akisa Wandera. Any questions for him? We'll definitely be asking him and seeking to find answers or to get answers from him. I introduce to you Nick Salat, the Secretary General of KANU. Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa, for coming in. Thank you so much. And we'll just get straight to it. First, good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're having a good morning.
Good morning.
Like I said, when people hear Nick Salat, the first thing they think about is KANU. You're in the colors today, so it must improve.
Yeah,
Are you always associated with KANU like that?
I've never joined any other party, and I don't plan to join another party.
So are you a life member of KANU?
We actually did away with life membership because some people joined other parties and still claim that they were members of our party. So we introduced what we call gold card for those who would be seeking to vie for positions within those who would want to seek elective positions. So we introduced gold card and silver for those who just want to be ordinary members, to do away with people, because you'd hear people who have gone through KANU, which is almost everybody, would still be claiming membership of our party. So we decided that we change to gold membership. But that also doesn't mean I'm about to ditch my party. I'm here and I still believe it's the party of choice. I still believe it's the party that has acceptance across the board. It just needs to be revamped and revived so that it can continue to regain its lost glory. Yes.
Do you think we'll get to that point where KANU will be able to be revived and reclaim its lost glory, as you put it?
Yeah, I do believe with the involvement of the young people who are needing a place and a home where they can share their ideas and make Kenya a better place. I think KANU is the best place because you find that the history of our party touches on everybody. And I cannot even, as Nick Salat, claim that KANU is mine. No, I believe this is the party that we can share, and it's a party that Kenyans can have a home in. When you're tired of running from one party to the other, home is best.
Home is KANU?
Home is KANU.
All right.
Yeah.
Has it always been politics for you? How did it all start? Have you always wanted to be a politician?
I've never been employed besides private business, but in terms of the other formal employment, from university I went straight to politics. And
were you in student politics at
I
the
was
university?
yes, I was the president, actually the deputy president, but not in Kenya. I was abroad then. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Where
So that's in Canada. Yeah, Alberta. Yes.
So from the university,
Yes.
you immediately, what was the first step for you as you were getting into politics?
I joined elective party politics in Kenya, where in Bomet, where I hail from, I was elected organizing secretary.
And when was this?
This was in 1995.
All right.
Yeah, thereabout. And in 97, I contested for parliamentary election for the first time, which I was only 2 years old in the country and still needed experience.
Yes.
So I didn't do well because we ended ours at nomination because KANU was still very, very strong, and
Yes.
whoever has gone through the nomination process was as good as making it to parliament. So from then, in 2003 and 2, I went for elective position in Bomet constituency then, which has now been divided into two, central and east, and I successfully won that seat in 2000 and went on up to 2007 and 2007. At that point, there was a lot of euphoria, and I chose to. Our party decided to stick with the president, and our party chairman then was the current president, Uhuru Kenyatta, who we decided as a party that we were going to support then Mwai Kibaki to run for his second term. I didn't make it then, And come 2013, I also contested for the Senate seat. And up to now, it was a case where I went for petition, which went all the way to the Supreme Court.
And incurred you a lot of losses.
And I incurred, I was actually the one who was given a bill of 40, it was about 80, almost close to 80 million shillings. And that is still pending in court. And even at the Supreme Court, many people don't know why there's this tussle between JSC and the Supreme Court. It's because of how they ruled on my case. And that's probably people don't know that.
Yes, your name comes up
Yes.
alongside this wrangles. But just before we get to that, do you still believe you won the election for the senator in Bomet County?
I believe, following on the materials that are normally used for during the electioneering period, we found that there were so many anomalies, and we gathered all that, and we found that we had a solid case to push through the courts. And you found that one of the judges, who is currently a member of JSC, before was actually presiding in my case in Kericho. So there was a lot of things that we felt were not adding up in terms of how they decided, how my case was rushed through, and how a particular judge, having sat in my case and also sitting in another case, allowed for recount in the case he was presiding over. And when it came to mine, so many things were denied to me because we felt that the truth, had it been allowed, if we were allowed to do a recount on the votes and tallying in the ballot box, we'd have found out who exactly the people of Bomet chose.
So do you think that was an unfair ruling to you?
I still believe, because even the ruling which the Supreme Court ended up giving, we've actually gone for review. So at the way the present setup of the Supreme Court is, where the Chief Justice is retiring and the other two are being indicted, and I'm reading today Njoki also has
investigations on disciplinary. Yes.
I may never get to know exactly what my fate would have been. So that's where I am politically at the moment. And I believe moving forward, I don't want people to go through what I've gone through. That's why I'm coming out, and my party is coming out, because not only that, Kericho, which is about 3-4 months ago, we witnessed another electoral, I call it genocide. I mean, it is, because you look at the way they conducted themselves in Kericho, where a whole county, tallying and everything and announcements were done within 2 hours. That's amazing. But it was not the only election taking place at that time.
You also had Malindi.
We had Malindi, which went dragged on up to 2 a.m. And we are asking ourselves, how perfect were they in one place and they were unable for a single constituency?
So you believe it's a case of stolen votes for the Kericho senatorial by-election?
I believe it's malpractice on the part of IEBC. I believe everything that they do is tailor-made to suit a certain direction.
Is that why you're out in the streets protesting against the electoral body?
I do believe that has brought us to join up with like-minded people who are also agitating for the same. And we are going to keep pressuring for changes, because we foresee a situation where our history should actually be one where we learn from, where 2008 and the kind of polarization that we have in the country at the moment is one where we need to really be careful moving forward, because to destroy is so easy, to build is so difficult.
3 weeks ago when you joined, about 3 weeks ago when you joined the protests, the anti-IABC protest, you are the most conspicuous figure, because that is Secretary General of KANU, Salat. Then you attended the Madaraka Day parallel rally by the opposition quad as well. And we saw you there yesterday once again. Are you representing Salat or are you representing KANU?
I'm representing KANU because I vied on a KANU ticket. Kericho stolen votes was stolen from a KANU candidate. So I'm not an independent candidate in all my, and I'm also the Secretary General of KANU. And most people don't see the other figures like our chairman, but if you look at even the statements that he issued on Sunday, he actually confirms that this is a position that's not uniquely Nick Salat, but it is a position that is being held by the party.
So why wouldn't the others join you?
Most of them, most of our members and our NEC members, because we will talk about NEC members. Our NEC members are scattered across the country. To bring them to Nairobi but I have consulted them. Most of them are aware of our position, are aware of our stolen votes in Kericho, are aware of how far we've come fighting for justice, which was denied to us in Bomet, and are aware of sitting back and watching the country head back to 2007, where if we do nothing, as a leader, you'd be asked, what was your position then? So I can assure you that this is not a personal position to me. But some members, like our senators in parliament, especially the two, the nominated and Lonyangapo,
yes, I was getting to that.
Are holding positions. You know, we have an agreement with Jubilee to assist and to work with them in parliament, both the Senate and the National Assembly. Yeah. And that is still in place. But there was nothing in that agreement that says I should sit with somebody who has actually been associated with stealing our votes. You see, in Kericho, what we complained about, and I can go back to Kericho, we complained about the destructions of our billboards, the interference by the police in our rallies, and all that we registered with IEBC. We talked about civil servants getting involved in campaigns, and even the IEBC went ahead to say we have information that some CSs who are currently who are directly involved, which you know is not allowed constitutionally. And they even went ahead to say they will undertake investigation. Have you seen any? They even were supposed to summon one of them. Have you heard? So those are the kind of things that we registered at the complaints with IEBC Kericho, and nothing happened.
So is it the system that you blame or the electoral body? Because the mention of some CSs being directly involved brings a broader picture that this is not just an issue with the IEBC.
For IEBC, which is supposed to be the body overseeing elections, they are the ones who are supposed to really ensure that this is free and elections are supposed to be carried out in a free and fair manner. And once you report an incident, so they are the ones to investigate and to give a verdict on it. And we brought it to their attention and nothing happened.
All right, back to the protests. From our screen, that is one of the stories on the papers. The opposition threatens to increase anti-IEBC protest twice a week. But from what we saw yesterday, there was a lot of destruction of property. For how long are you going to do this? And does it concern you that the protests are turning violent?
I do believe it's very unfortunate that especially what happened in Kisumu. But you look at if the way it was conducted yesterday in Nairobi, where if it was not for that court ruling that we go and we get police protection, I think it should apply to every part of this country who are willing to, who are wishing to express their displeasure about an institution of IEBC. They should be given police protection. If what happened yesterday in Nairobi, where there was no incident. Incidents have only been happening when the police starts to interfere. And we plan to conduct, and we will also want to have the same police provide protection for those who would wish to protest across the country, so that you can actually guide the protestants instead of allowing them to just, we'll give our route and say we'll be going through this direction all through and finish at a certain time. And everybody knows. so that if you felt that's going to be on your way, you keep off, or if it's going to be along your shop, you close for that period. And if anything that happens after that, then you blame the protestants, the leadership of those who are leading the protest, and the police. Because right now, when there is no direction, you get people, hooligans just coming and taking advantage.
Who do we blame for the destruction of property and the violence witnessed yesterday and the other Monday?
As you are aware, it's a constitutional right for...
It is.
And,
but
and
it
the
should
two,
not
the two
be
institutions, the police and the protesters, should be working hand in hand. In this case, for the Kisumu one, they already made up minds that these are not people who are going to provide that security that they seek to allow them to protest. So they came up expecting a confrontation with the police. When I go to Nairobi, we already knew that the police were not going to interfere. And we made sure that along the way, we would provide our own security to ensure that our people don't also interfere with those who are not taking part in the protest. And you saw a perfect way of how protest should be done in Kenya. An example was yesterday. And we hope that it should not just be yesterday, it should be something that should carry forward, so that those in Kisumu can know that the police are not going to be there to shoot them.
So for how long are we going to see this protests?
We've asked for dialogue, and dialogue is not difficult. So the more the other side is playing a hardball, the more this will continue, because we're only less than 13 months to a general election. And if this kind of polarization is taken all the way to the ballot box, I fear for Kenya.
We have a bipartisan caucus that is out to look for solutions by having minimum reforms on the Constitution, or with the IEBC as an institution, minimum reforms. And as of now, we have about 166 members of parliament who've signed up to be members of the caucus to just try and steer talks to the right direction. Do you have belief in this group? And if so, should this not be enough, an initiative to get you out of the streets?
I welcome anybody, any Kenyan, right from parliament to us also on the streets, who are pressuring to seek a solution to getting a new and reformed IEBC. Hopefully the same parliament is not the one we know, where we have a tyranny of numbers, where you just want to bring something, you bring a motion or a bill before them, and what rights before, and people just mutilate everything to suit them. So I'm hoping, and I do welcome any Kenyan, and even from parliament and outside parliament, because if you look at the religious community, the diplomatic corps, even the AU, and everybody has joined in to really say we have to find sit down and dialogue on this issue.
So we have seen other members of parliament from the Jubilee coalition who've said that they also want the IEBC out, but they are asking the opposition to do this under the confines of the law. When we talk about tyranny of numbers, and we talk about other members from the Jubilee coalition who say they also want the IEBC out, don't you think we should just give this a try and see how it works out?
I think...
or is it just trust issues between
I think there's been a lot of mistrust between what goes on in Parliament and how they have always taken voting, their voting, how they have voted. And I do believe there's, even with dialogue outside, it will end up in Parliament. Parliament has to debate and pass it. So what is so difficult, them joining us out here and taking it back to them so that they can pass it. But they want to control the process inside Parliament. Yes, that's the way it's supposed to go, but the trust is not there. That's where that's where these differences is arising from. But we are saying even parliamentarians should come and dialogue with us here, and eventually take the same decisions that will have created this new IEBC, which we are clamoring for, and take it to Parliament and pass it.
So are we saying that we do not trust that the bipartisan caucus will put this, will settle this issue?
You see, already in Parliament there are two groups, as you put it.
Yes, we have the Justice and Legal Affairs
and then
Committee.
you have the parliamentarians.
Yes.
That is already, that's already a division within Parliament. And that one is already something that you can tell Parliament is not united. They should believe in the Chepkonga team to spearhead if they were really united if they were really talking the same language. But you already, two groups are forming within Parliament. We are also out here. We need to harmonize these groups. Where they come out, we sit down and dialogue, take it back to them, and they pass it.
Opposition leader Raila Odinga, after they were invited to State House together with his co-principal Moses Wetangula, Kalonzo was out of the country, so he was not present, said that there had been talks between him and President Uhuru Kenyatta and the deputy, and that they had agreed that each party give out 5 people to be in the negotiating table. These are claims that the president and his deputy have vehemently denied. Would this be the way forward? And having this talks that Jubilee gives 5, CORD gives 5, where does this leave the other parties like KANU and the Amani coalition, for instance?
Whatever happened in State House happened between, it's only known between them, because he said, I said, you know, that kind of exchange. What I know is that it's not going to happen. Also, we've told our team, Raila and Wetangula, don't just jump at any invite. You know, it could be a setup.
Were you disappointed that they went to State House?
We were disappointed because this is bigger than the two of them. It's bigger than the Senator Wetangula. It's bigger than Right Honorable Raila.
But was that not proof that they're ready to sit down and forge a way forward?
But look at the outcome. And if you also follow the utterances of the deputy president when he was at a funeral in Western, and when he was at a church function in Nairobi, those are two different people in one, talking. At one point, follow the law. At one point, we are about to get a solution. So we need the government to come out and express that position that they are holding, rather than at one point tell Kenyans, oh, follow the constitution. At one point, oh, we'll find a solution. We want a solution now. And the longer it drags on, the closer we get to 2017 elections.
Hypothetically speaking,
yes.
If the idea of 5 people from CORD and 5 people from Jubilee was true and it was to be tried out, would you be comfortable with that as Secretary General of KANU?
We've talked with that. We have actually appointed one of us who is a parliamentary, she's a Professor Sambili, to join the 5 of CORD. So there will be 4 of CORD and one from KANU. And one from KANU, yes. Yeah.
So you would be comfortable with such talks?
We want talks, and we want talks now. We want dialogue. We want to ensure that this thing doesn't drag on any longer than it is dragging.
What happens to the other parties that are not members of either the coalitions?
You see, once you are in, you can, if it's to be widened, and I think at any given point, I'm talking about the 5-5, and now we are pushing for one of us to go in. But I do believe accommodating the rest is also very important, so that we are all inclusive and we are all responsible for the outcome of the dialogue. What
exactly, because when you go out there and ask Kenyans, they do know that the opposition wants, and quite a number of people want the IEBC out. But who exactly do we want out? Do we want the whole team plus the secretariat? Do we want a few commissioners? What exactly do we want?
I think up to now, the whole commission, the commissioners, have actually, we believe we need to restructure the whole commission.
So do we need all the 9 of them out?
I believe they should all vacate their positions so that we can have confidence going into 2017, because it will be unfair to single out an individual, yet decisions are made and supported by a unified board. So we believe cleaning out, and there are other capable Kenyans who, once that's done in an open and transparent manner, Kenyans will have that confidence to know that going into an election, they will go and elect that person, and nobody will interfere with their vote, and they can have and be proud of who they have elected, rather than just being manipulating the system. And look at CORD is complaining about 2013 and how it happened, and they're legitimate in complaining about it. But we don't want to go back again where we have a leadership that was given to us through the courts. We want a leadership that was given to us through proper, free and fair counting, and you were known and said, this is you. That's my president. We don't want a decision of the courts, which now, the same courts, you can see where it is right now. Now everybody is doubting whether that decision was through other means, pressure or otherwise. Because if the courts, the Supreme Court had remained the same all through and through, you'd have said that decision was a decision that it was well thought out. But look at the kind of mess that the Supreme Court is in at the moment.
All right, your presence in the CORD rallies have raised a lot of questions and whispers that KANU might be joining the opposition CORD to come up with a super alliance, so to speak. Is that true?
Let me use this opportunity to say what KANU is expressing and is at the moment, we're more concerned about IEBC. We have not entered into any agreement with anybody as of now. But constitutionally, it doesn't deny us to talk to Jubilee if we feel we don't have what it takes to go it alone. It doesn't deny us to talk to CORD if we believe that's the right thing to do.
So there is a possibility?
I'm just saying constitutionally, it does not deny us, because there is the pre-election agreement under the Political Parties Act, and there is the post-election agreement like the one we signed with Jubilee after. So that pre-election agreement is open to all parties to engage. But as for now, we're still KANU, and we're only agitating for IEBC to be disbanded.
So like you said, we have roughly about 14 months to the general election. How does KANU seek to position itself to make that comeback that you talked about, to revive itself, so to speak?
You see how we came out hard in Kericho. We really gave our best, but that best was not what IBC saw. And we are going to be very key in the next coming government. I can assure you that.
You seem so sure about that.
Yes, I am telling you that. We're going to be very key in the next government. And we're not sitting back. We're also looking at the way things are unfolding nationally. And we will surprise many, because that is what politics... You don't become a political party not to aspire for the main office, that is the presidency. Yes.
But Kericho was definitely one of the biggest electoral competitions that have been seen for quite a while. That is the Rift Valley. Yeah. How do you seek to remove the perception that KANU is just for Rift Valley? Are you seeking to thrive in other parts of the country apart from Rift Valley?
There's been, and which the only way you can measure that is not through rallies, but through an election process, because we've gotten a lot of interest across the country of people who want to come and contest and seek our party ticket to go and vie for the various positions, right from very senior members of government and who are feeling unsafe with the new formation of Jubilee, JAB party.
Yes.
And they feel that the only party that cuts across and which they would feel comfortable and at home is KANU. So I'm assuring you that KANU, come 2017, is not the KANU you're seeing today. And we're planning to ensure that we are going to be inside government.
Will it be the party that represents a lot of people from across the country cutting across?
That's why I said initially when we started that this is the home of all Kenyans. I cannot lay claim to it, neither can our chairman lay claim to it. We're only in office, and anybody else can sit in my position. And anybody else can sit in. And we want to actually have a representation right at our head office of Kenya. And we're working on that, even though we don't have funding from government because we didn't qualify. But we will use whatever we have to ensure that we go out there and champion KANU's cause.
Of course, there's a word, or it's common belief that whatever former President Daniel Arap Moi wants is what KANU will do. These sentiments from a lot of Kenyans, how would you place them?
We respect...
is he still the center stage of the party?
We respect the second president of this country, Mzee Moi's position on many issues. And he's never been wrong in his predictions. If you look at what he said in 1992 about formation of multipartyism, where we are right now, where everybody's running to their own backyard and thinking...
Yes, he said it will actually bring a lot of
it will come to pass. And,
yes.
and he has said it, and we will not ignore. But at where we are, he's advised to say, make sure wherever you are in charge and you know what you're doing.
Does he still actively participate in the party politics?
He's a member of our party, but at the senior position, and he knows at where he is, he's given us that confidence that what we engage in is something we have thought, and we have seek advice from others to engage in the direction we're taking.
So are we going to see him help restructure the party ahead of the 2017 elections?
I see the role he's going to play is to give a fatherly advice. But what is happening right now, the dynamics are very different. So we have to really employ what we are seeing as the leadership of KANU now to be able to comply with the age. You know, the youngsters of today are so demanding and they need their space, and you have to really get down to them and let them be the driver. So we'll see a lot of youth involvement in our party. And
let's talk about the party for a bit. Not too long ago, but last year, Senator John Lonyangapuo made claims that party leaders, the chairman, the secretary general, like yourself, are embezzling funds for the party and selling assets that belong to the party.
Yes, I can tell you for sure we've disposed of some assets. One, we've disposed of assets because under the Political Parties Act, we are mandated to acquire and dispose. And you find we did not qualify for the funding, the political parties funding fund. And it has forced us to either to fold, close shop, or to continue existing as a party. So we've had to dispose of funds, dispose of a few properties. And that is also a legal, it's not something that we did it out of not following the laid down procedure. And we plan to continue disposing, because if you look at the way the political parties fund is structured, is that if, for example, our chairman is able to contribute to the party, there is a certain percentage, 10%, and he's already surpassed that in terms of assisting the party. And if you look at our members of parliament, Lonyangapuo included, Sibora, when they seek our party membership, they were supposed to be contributing some funds after going through, I think, 50,000 per month. And to death, to now, they've not even contributed a cent.
So what you're saying is, yes, you have agreed that you disposed of some assets. I would expect that Senator Lonyangapuo, being a member of the party, would have such information. Then why would he go out to say that the party leadership or the members of the secretariat are selling assets for their own benefit, if he has access to such information?
I believe in his capacity he should go to the second step. You don't just claim and leave it there hanging. You should go to the second step and take the necessary action, so that if he has information to that effect, there are necessary channels too. There is the tribunal where you can go and lay such claims and call all of us to ascertain whether those are factual or those are fictional.
Has he done that?
But to me, he has not done that. And I can assure you, if the contribution by our elected members of parliament, right from the National Assembly, which we have 6, and 3, and only 1 is very active in the Senate, and that is our chairman, in terms of contributing towards the everyday upkeep of the party, then we would have not had to resort to invoking the Political Parties Act, which allows us to dispose of some of the assets to continue, because we can't even go back to all those members who are able to give us funding, because that article where 10% of an individual's contribution to the party, some of them have surpassed. And if the law is followed to the letter, then we don't want to break the law and injure their political careers by allowing them to continue contributing their own personal wealth. Yet we have assets which we can dispose.
All right. And as we wrap up, where are we going to see Nick Salat in 2017?
First and foremost, we will see a KANU that is not having 3 or 4 members today in the National Assembly, the Senate. We will have an increased number of senators come 2017. And we'll also do the same for the National Assembly. And we hope to do the same for those who will be seeking the governorship in across the country. And we will do the same for the MCAs. So I will add the numbers, and I will be seeking the Senate seat of Bomet in 2017.
Yes, you'll be seeking to reclaim the seat you believe was yours in the first place?
And I still believe even the people of Bomet knew what they did. And only that a system, which I call it, it's electoral terrorism by IEBC. So I do believe if IEBC and the political and the whole its structure is put in place, is restructured right from whatever machines they are going to be employing for that particular process, right from the people who are going to be true to the positions that Kenyans have bestowed on them. I believe this is going to be an election, and it will build Kenya, because once you lose confidence in an electioneering process, you lose confidence everywhere, because nobody will trust that you are the rightful president or you are the rightful elected member of parliament, because they know what they did. But you have people there who are manipulating the system to really cause disharmony amongst people.
So do you think we have enough time to reconstitute the electoral body?
I do believe we have enough time, because Kenyans will accept and give everything they have to ensure that the time remaining will be used, will be employed in a manner that will guarantee them a free and fair and confidence going into the next 2017.
All right, so we expect you to be campaigning for the senatorial seat of Bomet County?
Please pray for me.
All right, thank you very much for coming in. Asante sana for that discussion. Where there you have it, Secretary General for KANU, Nick Salat, has been in studio with us, just telling us about the past, the present, and the future of the party. He has disowned the claims that KANU might be joining the opposition chord, but not entirely. Many thanks for joining us. This is Morning Express. Up next, I will be bringing you the latest stories making headlines at this hour. Don't go too far.